We're moving on to the leveraging GCVC for large-scale transformation with Lisa Smith, a founder, angel investor, and mentor. Lisa has over 20 years of investing experience, including 8 years at Unilever Ventures. Lisa is passionate about people and the planet. She co-founded Cradle to eliminate social isolation of the elderly, launched a Pan-African green bond to address food security, and set up a world-first agri-MBA. Lisa has won numerous awards, one being Mentor of the Year at the UK Women in IT Awards. Lisa also has an MBA from Harvard Business School, an MSc in biomechanics, and a PhD in mechanical engineering. Lisa, welcome.
Thank you. Right, what a pleasure to be here today. I have the honor of talking to the guests. We have got miking issues. Okay? Okay, fine. Right, so lovely to be here on a sunny London day. Unusual, but then that's climate change for you. We're quite lucky, a bit more sunny days, so enjoy it. I'm here to talk to you about sustainable transformation. And to start, I just want to share a little bit about our story of our fund, BTomorrow Ventures. So we are the venture capital arm of BAT, British American Tobacco. Now, you'd have thought that British American Tobacco would have had a big think about transformation quite a long time ago. But in 2019, with a new board, that urgency for transformation, I think, was felt a little bit more urgently. And the concept of a venturing unit or an investment or something to do with transformation was conceived. And so in 2020, our journey began with recruiting a team, finding an office, equipment, and then sort of engaging on the brief. And the brief was that big, which was transformation on every dimension and in every direction, and by the way, global. And that's a big ask. And it was very interesting to hear the stories of Gregor, Philippe, and Aziz earlier in terms of that venture client model. So what we did is we followed that same pain points that Aziz shared with you, which is we both had to stand up a venture investing capability, but we also had to explain to the corporate that there was an external world and it was filled with amazing entrepreneurial people and how to engage with them. And that was actually really, really hard. And so we labeled this a labs program, and we stood up a number of different labs. So how to talk to our logistics team. Now, logistics are full of engineers, and they're wonderful beasts because you present data to engineers and they just get on with it. So we had great success with logistics early on. We both stood up some great trials and POCs, made a couple of investments, and you know what? We already got 2 exits in 2 years as a result of those wonderful engineers. But what that did is it just wonderfully gave us a white paper on what it is we're talking about. And what we're talking about is engage with innovation, change how you do your normal day-to-day job in some kind of way. Hopefully, that change results in some real savings or some strategic value for the corporate. And that, to write up that case study was great. We did this logistics AI. We're trying to explain it's really good to have real-time data. Like, well, we've got very good data. But no, real-time data makes a difference. Well, how? Why? Why would real-time data make a difference? And then was brilliant, well, not really different. We had the Suez Canal disaster, so not brilliant for a lot of people. But we had real-time data that told us that we were about to have a disaster. And so as a result, we were able to redeploy cargo, all rerouting, which meant we had 0 out of stocks. We had no on cost on the supply chain and the cost avoidance of a few million. And so people went, aha, that real data thing is actually really helpful. And so case studies like this, very, 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 very useful to us. But I want to show you this picture, which is 2 years on. We're not quite 2 years, but we're almost 2 years on in terms of investing. The white bits of the globe are where we've got actual deals. But what's more interesting to this group of people are the pink dots and the orange, well, they're hexes. The pink and the orange ones. The pink ones are where we had to stand up something even more weird, which was not just the venture client model, but it was how do you persuade a dynamic young entrepreneur with a super cool consumer product to want to talk to us? I mean, talk about the sort of slightly ugly kid with bagged skin in the corner. You know, it's a difficult sell. So what we had to do is we had to go, well, we're going to give you something back. And so we stood up sort of an accelerator program, but it was a free entry, let's engage, and let's see how we can potentially work together. But not just that, start to educate people that when we say we need to move beyond tobacco, we want to do it really quickly. And we kind of need to do it yesterday. And so as soon as you put that agenda on the table with a degree of authenticity, with meeting senior leader after senior leader inside the corporate that reiterates exactly the same message, then you build up sort of a bit of momentum in terms of credibility. And so the cool kids start wanting to engage. And then when the first cohort of cool kids engage, then we can just say to the next cohort, look, those cool kids were okay with talking to us, so how about you guys come and engage? And so as a result of that, we built some very nice forward momentum. So the pink dots are deals that we've done as a result of that kind of engagement. The orange dots are the ones from the, I don't have to talk about it because you had an entire panel talking about what venture client modeling is about, but that's the orange dots. And one example is we're quite fond of is one in Bangladesh. This is where we've taken e-rickshaws. I think, what on earth have we got to do with e-rickshaws? Well, that's last mile delivery, quite a nice cheap form of last mile delivery. And e-rickshaws sound like a really great solution, except that they're out and about in the day consuming their battery power, and then when do they plug in? At night. So super not helpful for Bangladesh's primary source of off-grid power, which is solar. So if you instead say, all right, what happens if we work with, put a little bit of infrastructure in, and we stand up some extra batteries? And so what you can do is we have the solar charging station, and we have a swappable battery. As soon as you do that, and you sign up a whole city, which is, okay, logistically quite tricky, but if you can get, and if you have a very nice large corporate that kind of knows all city people, then you can indeed sign up an entire city and get them all to agree to use this model. And we're in the, right in the middle of this trial right now. But if it's successful, it's transformative. We've made a truly off-grid green solution for our last mile delivery. And the reason why I'm telling you this story and why I'm talking to you guys is because our bread and butter is being change agents. That's what we do. What you do every single day is you find a way to persuade someone inside your corporate or our corporate to do something different, whether it be adopt an incremental technology or a wholesale new technology, whether it's a radical new business model. That's what our bread and butter is. And that's why corporate venture capital is quite a unique space. It's not as simple as just doing a deal. It's doing a deal while leveraging an enormous beast to actually extract some value out of that deal, because make no mistake, we get fired if we don't deliver strategic value, and we get fired if we don't deliver financial value. So it's a twin-headed beast, and it's tricky, but this group have mastered it. We're brilliant. And it's on this platform of you guys being change agents that I want to kind of jump topic, talk about two numbers that I think this room needs to talk a whole lot more about. The first number is 52 billion. 52 billion is the amount of greenhouse gases we throw up into the atmosphere every single year. 0 is where we need to be. So the size of the problem, 52 billion size problem, where we need to get to is net zero. The maths is pretty simple, but it's really, really complicated. And it hits every single part of E, S, and G, from wildfires in California to issues, for instance, in Pakistan with sustained temperatures above, getting very close to and hitting 50 degrees centigrade. Let's just pause about that for 5 seconds. Right, 10 years ago, we made theoretical models about what the impact of climate change might be. Nowadays, we don't have to anymore. The costs of climate change are actually in business cases and studies, facts and figures and data that's out there right now. I'll talk more about Pakistan and what it means what the effect is of that in a short while. This, for the data people in here, this is a fun chart. So the top pink line is greenhouse gases that we're chucking up into the atmosphere. So you can see there, it's 50, and it nudged up to 51 a bit. That flattening of the red curve, right, the red curve, that flattening of the red curve is all of the mitigation actions we have already put in place. Not super brilliant, right? Okay, not super brilliant. The purple curve is everyone pretty much in the last 6 months, since COP26, kind of going, hey, we can put some more actions in place, and as a result of putting those actions in place, we can bring stuff down in the future, mañana, 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 in the future, right? Which is fine, but if you have a look at the 2030, we're supposed to halve our emissions by 2030. That is a massive overshoot. We have that dotted line in the middle is 2030. We want to be on that blue line. See? I mean, the math is not that hard, right? It's roughly half. Okay, 30 is not quite 25, but it's roughly half. This is a serious problem. It's 8 years. Guys, we've got to do something. You, us, we have to do something. Here are 5 points that we need to do. 1, we need to build better business cases. All right, the data's out there. The case for change exists. All right, you want to know what happens if glaciers melt? Look at Pakistan, they melt. It's not just water, big chunks of ice come down. What do? It smashes through dams. What happens? Whole villages are washed away in the most dramatic form because the dam got broken by the ice, not the water. We can make hero plays, all right? New technology to fix a factory to net zero. Let's do it the old way. We do a trial. Then after the trial, we maybe stand up 2 factories. 9 months. Another 2 factories. Each of those factories do 2 factories. Another 9 months. Okay, you get to 64 factories in 4.5 years. That gives you 3 years left to actually sort the issue out if we're trying to do it by 2030. So we have to go bigger, bolder. If you've got a proof of principle, stand it up in 8 factories straight away. Then you can still do the slow 9 month by 9 month, but if you're starting off a base of 8, you deliver the same outcome of 64 factories, I love the math of this, in just 2 and a bit years, exactly half. All right? This is bolder. We have to collaborate more. That collaboration point is super key. Purchasing power in this room, I don't know, trillion? I don't know, lots, big, huge. Did you know that pulp, we have 400,000 tons of pulp. You know that half of that comes from chopping down virgin forest. Now, you know that net carbon sink I just told you about, 52 billion? It assumes that we're not removing the carbon sinks at the same time. All right? Oh, wake-up call, we actually are at a 200,000 tons per year rate. That's nuts. Right? So let's, for instance, said that this group collaboratively used our order book to say in 3 years we will eliminate wood in our packaging and in our paper from virgin wood sources. You know what? If we did that, that could do a combined takeoff agreement to stand off 3 to 4 new mills using recycled pulp or agricultural waste or something else cool that the entrepreneurs have thought of. We should do this. And it's terrible that we're not doing this. Corporate parents. I love one of the points earlier that was saying find the pain point. Yeah, okay. So we need to manage, for instance, biodiversity, use of fertilizer, reduce water in our planted footprint. Quite tricky to stand up all that technology and governance. Find a different pain point. Illicit trade. People planting tobacco in terribly bad areas and doing it all illegally. Well, if we put a monitoring platform on that, the company loves to pay for that. On the back of that, make sure you choose a provider that can also map for water, biodiversity, insect life, all that kind of stuff. So you use a pain point, stand up a technology and an infrastructure that allows you to deliver change. And lastly, that's us, you, us, and our corporates. We need to get these guys to do a better job, all right? I mean, coal-fired power stations, coal subsidies, we just need to put that money in a better place, and we need to stand up alternative technologies in a whole lot quicker way, all right? Nuclear. Nuclear's got a bad rep, but so did cars in the beginning. Then we put safety belts in, airbags, roll bars. Let's fix the issues and don't eliminate an entire technology that gives us green energy without using the ingenuity of innovation to fix the problems. So recap. I'm getting yelled at and it's tea time and we all need a drink. So 5 issues. I think it's important. They're all steps that we can take, both collectively and individually. And this is a clarion call to the best group of change agents that I know on the planet are here. And the planet needs us.